Hello and welcome. This is T-Minus Today. I'm your host Dave, and I wanted to talk about my thermal paste that I reapplied to my GPU. Just kind of status report. Tell you what's going on. It was the first time I'd done reapplied thermal paste to my GPU, and I can tell you it was a resounding success. So currently, I just barely rebooted because my Streamlabs was being a piece of junk. Anyway, GPU temperatures are good. They're down at 36 Celsius. They hover between 34 and 36 Celsius when I'm not using my computer. Woo! 36 Celsius is about where they were at. So here's a picture of what it was before. So I didn't have anything on my core voltage. This was at idle, right? Temp limit was 91, power limit was 100%. I didn't change my core or memory clock. This is what it is now. That was then, this is now. So now I've cranked my power limit to 110, didn't touch my core voltage, bumped my core clock by 100 because I wanted to go over 1500 megahertz because that's a good number. And then my memory clock was at 3505 and I cranked that to 3600 because that's a nice round number too. So now we just need to see how it performs under load and go ahead and run. So before I reapplied my thermal paste, during this test, it would get up to 87 Celsius. Sometimes 88 Celsius, but 87 Celsius, you know. And it got hot, and my core clocks would dumpster from over 1400 down to like 1341 or even lower. As you can see, I'm over 1500 megahertz thanks to my little tiny little overclock on my GPU. It's not really an overclock. Just a tiny little bump. But yeah, my temperatures are staying in check, and now they shouldn't get above like 76 Celsius I've been seeing. That's a huge reduction, 11 Celsius reduction. That is a resounding success. It's amazing. And it was so easy. It was so simple. So if you have an older GPU and you want to just get a little bit more, lower the temps a little bit, it runs quieter now. It's cooler. I even have an overclock on it, and it's performing much better than it was. Incredible. Just by reapplying some thermal paste. And it's just like a CPU. You just clean off the thermal paste, put some alcohol on it, on a little paper towel, wipe it off. I just use the blob method, just a little dab right in the center. I'm very liberal with my thermal paste because I've actually made a CPU smoke before when I didn't apply enough thermal paste. So if err on the side of too much thermal paste if you're questioning where you stand with that, because worst case scenario, it's just going to squish out the sides a little bit more and you'll get the sides a little bit more messy. Most thermal paste that I use is non-conductive, and it doesn't hurt if it actually hits anything. It's fine. It'll just make a gooey mess, and that's fine. And my temperatures are at 75 Celsius, just hanging around at 75 Celsius right now. Awesome. And they stabilize right about, around 76, maybe even 77 Celsius, but, hang around 76 Celsius as far as, from what I've seen so far, which means it's fantastic. Like I said, I'm running at like 45% fan speed right now, maybe 50% fan speed. It's not that. It's so much better than it was before. It's incredible. I am astounded that it's this much better. So if you've been on the fence about it, doing a GPU, applying thermal paste to your GPU, you should probably just do it. It was 4 screws and just a little 4-pin fan header. So easy. And you just tighten them back down to where they're at, just kind of go around in circles, use the X method or whatever, just do it at the same time so the thermal paste squishes evenly, and you're good to go. Piece of cake. Yeah, look at that. Boom. Yeah, we hit 76 Celsius. Ooh, my minimum FPS went down. I'm usually above 13 there. 2134. So that run wasn't that great, but considering I just have a tiny little overclock, and I went from like 1938, my score, to 2134, and I have, I mean, I haven't even dumped anything into voltage or anything. That's just, it's amazing. It's fantastic. So yeah, it was a complete success. I had a good time. I made a little video of, you know, how I took it apart. If you want to know how to do a GPU, a teardown and reapplying thermal paste, just look on the internet. You won't find a good one here, not for a while anyway. I made a little video with my phone, but I broke my phone and it's all like busted. So, and I think I messed up the like the sensor or something. However, it focuses, because the focus was all out of focus and all out of whack, and I was rambling, and I had no way to like hold it up here, so I had to set it down on the side. It was just a big mess. So I think I am gonna publish the video here on this channel, but it's not anything special. If you want to look how to redo a GPU, there's so many other tutorial videos on how to do that, and they're very good. You should check those out. Everything's running really well. I'm super happy with it, and it was easy. It was really quite easy and enjoyable. So, like, subscribe. My thoughts on the whole process was it was just, you know, just another thing you can do just to make things a little bit better. Just kind of, you know, every few years. I should probably do that to my CPU, to be honest, because I think I have I don't even know. I don't think I had any thermal paste, or I just used whatever came on the Noctua cooler. You know, the stuff that came on the Noctua cooler is probably fine, but I just slapped it on there. I didn't apply my own thermal paste or anything. I should probably reapply that soon. And yeah, I'll do that. Maybe I'll do a mild overclock on my CPU as well. I'm not sure how much headroom my 1600X has, and I don't know. I just don't know how much headroom it has. Let's just take a look at this real quick. Boom. Performance, CPUs. Yeah, base is 3.6 gigahertz. It boosts up to 3.7 gigahertz if I'm gaming or doing anything. It'll do an all-core boost of 3.7 gigahertz, and I feel like that's pretty good for a first-generation Ryzen. I mean, you hit a pretty massive ceiling at around 4 gigahertz, so I hear 41 gigahertz, 4.2 gigahertz is really hard to hit. There's a lot of people who do much more overclocking than I do, and if you can get, I mean, the first couple hundred megahertz is pretty easy. Up to 3900 megahertz seems like it would be fairly easy for a 1600X, but after that it gets difficult. So, but I'll just stick with that on my GTX 970, and I'm really happy with it. I'm extremely happy with the noise levels specifically. That's kind of why I don't want to really mess with it too much more. Like, I could get more performance out of it if I got closer to the bleeding edge, but I want to be really stable, and I don't want to compromise how quiet it is right now. So right now I have a GPU that's very quiet. I don't need to wear headphones. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm fairly sensitive to noise. I know noise doesn't bother others as much as it bothers me. So there's that. So it's kind of a crutch that I give myself in a way, because I can't get, you know, I could get more performance out of my my system if I would just deal with the noise a little bit more, but I don't, and it's fine, and it works great. But that's all I wanted to talk about. Just how well my my 970 reapplying paste went. It went really well, and it helped a ton. So, like, subscribe, hit that notification button if you care, and we'll see you next time.